Oh, Reese here, and I'm here to show you guys more signs that you have telekinesis. As it is, I got numbers 1 to 24. Okay, so as it is, I'm doing telekinesis stuff. Don't forget to watch the other one on the other sides as well too. Don't forget to check this out, because this one here is going to be a little bit more different, because there's still in between that you may not know that you have telekinesis. So as it is, I got this list right here that I'm going to share with you guys right now. Okay, so here is the top one, and that is feeling vibrations and movement. Okay, so now our second one up. That's another really big sign out there, and that is feeling an odd hidden emotion, like something that you feel a strong emotion to, that is can and link to telekinesis, making things move. Because if you have had an hidden emotion that comes up, it's more likely to move certain objects around you. Okay, so here's the third one. It's another really big one, and it comes into creativity. Now, why is creativity big in telekinesis? Because being creative allows you to manipulate your stuff when you're doing telekinesis. But not as that, it is to create things like challenges, and that. Check out the challenges here on my channel as well too, because in our third one up, that's a big sign, and that is an overactive, creative mind. Okay, and that brings us to our fourth one, another really big sign that will also indicate that you have telekinesis, and it goes into your eyes. Right, this one here goes into your eyes. Now, when you're doing telekinesis, sometimes the eyes can change a little bit, because the eyes are the windows of the soul, and whatever they see, they do. Right, so as it is, coming in at number 4, that is your pupils will kind of start to dilate. Okay, so now for the fifth one. Because right there, I know it looks kind of scary, but it's okay because it comes and goes as it happens. But now we're heading down to our fifth one. That's another most biggest sign out there, and that is a feeling, a mix of heaviness and lightness. Feeling heavy, like as if you feel like there's something heavy inside of you, and lightness that like you're light, like a feather. And with that, you're more likely to possibly attract an object or to expel an object, depending on the heaviness and the lightness that you're feeling. Okay, so now here's another one that has been lots within this kind of activity of telekinesis, is probably found in something that you cannot see, and that is spirits. It's true, telekinesis is a part of spirits. Depending on what kind of spirits are around, but also is another big sign that you have telekinesis, and that appears at number 6, and that is having a spiritual connection. Now, a spiritual connection will also help to develop telekinesis as a sign of that you're are close with the telekinetic forces. Okay, so here is our 7th one, and this one here is actually one that people normally get, that tends to happen to almost everyone. You know, you ever heard of the word deja vu? Right. Well, if you get it more than one occasion, then it's probably you telling you something. And that's another one of the signs of having telekinesis. And that is having either deja vu, which is French for literally already seen, and also, or coincidences as well too. Because having things coming out of the blue and a coincidence identical time is actually, if you keep having them, then you probably or have telekinesis right there with you at work. Okay, now here we are at our 8th one, moving down the list, and that is having attraction pulls to objects. Like, here's an example. You come up to an object, and you feel a tug, and you're moving towards it. You're moving towards the object, and the object basically reads you and is attracted to you. So that in itself is a very, very big sign that you have telekinesis. Because the main thing is the windows of the soul, looking at the object, because it's working through your mind and your hands, hand-eye coordination. But sometimes in the upbringing of telekinesis, it can happen to anyone who has telekinesis. It comes and goes, and that's appearing at number 9, and that is having minor blurry visions that come and go. Now, why? Is because when you're doing telekinesis and making objects move or of that sort, sometimes because your eyes need to be one, sometimes it kind of separates a little bit. Not too bad. But it does come and go. I just wanted to keep you guys informed of that too. But that is another sign that that you have telekinesis working in you. Okay, so do you find that your mood swings could possibly move things? Well, the mind is powerful than you think, because the mind can make things move. No matter how hard it is, it can make things move. Besides, minds are very powerful tools to use, especially in education and in school. But in this case, in telekinesis, the mind can move objects because it's that powerful. And that brings us to our next thing, and that is having mood swings that move certain objects. Imagine that. Because from my experience, I had a feeling, I don't know what kind of feeling I was feeling, but as soon as I felt that feeling, something started to move because of that feeling that I had. Just wanted to throw that into you guys. Because that in itself is the number one biggest sign that you have telekinesis. And that comes in at number 10. Okay, well, there's still more signs out there that will indicate telekinesis, as is in number 11, which is another one that can be given to you by spirits. That is being touched by spirits, giving you the power. Even on people like they do routines and stuff like that, and doing into like rituals. Doesn't have to be bad or anything like that, but certain things like that can possibly give you telekinesis. Or if you had a history with that too, could also be another big sign that you probably do have telekinesis. And that falls in at number 12, and that is doing certain rituals or certain routines. Also can be part of the ancient parts, so sometimes in ancestry. Could also be led down into you too. And that comes in as our 13th one, and that is if you have an ancestor or a brother that has telekinetic powers. Okay, so here we are at number 14, is another sign, but it's also something that goes into the history, because history is big in this, so we'll do it up here, so number 14, and that is if you have a family history of magic and crafts. Which brings us to our 15th one, and that is staying in contact with the spirit realm, because they also can help with telekinetic powers and much more. In regards to that, okay, and that brings us to our 16th one, and that is having the feeling of static energies in your body, hands, and fingers. Okay, so this may or may not happen, but it doesn't happen because sometimes things fluctuate in that. Sometimes it can raise up the adrenaline just a bit and then take it back down after. But that in itself is a part of fluctuating and having it to adapt. And that comes in to our 17th one, which is having odd adrenaline rushes. Okay, so here we are at number 18, and that is having like sweats, hot or cold sweats that comes and goes, which is the body's way of adapting to nature, to the force within you. Okay, now for our 19th one, and that is doing certain acts of conjury. Certain kinds of conjury can't end up giving you the telekinetic powers, or other way around, but also is another way, besides as not being a sign, but as a way of getting you telekinetic powers if you're doing that.